Welcome back to Take a Break. I'm Tim Stanovec in New York. It's time now for Quick Takes by the Numbers, where we let the numbers tell the story. This afternoon's number is 306. That's the tally of electors President Biden will receive today as members of the Electoral College meet to elect him as president. Electors started casting their votes in meetings at 10 a.m. New York time in states including New Hampshire, Vermont, and Indiana. The constitutionally mandated procedure will occur in all 50 states and the District of Columbia with little notice. But this year, it may help conclude a chaotic election season punctuated by Trump's refusal to concede and he and his allies' frequent insistence, without evidence, of course, that the vote was, quote, rigged against him. Biden won 306 electoral votes from 25 states in the District of Columbia, while Trump captured 232 electoral votes from the 25 states that he won. Bloomberg government reporter Greg Giroux joins us now from Falls Church, Virginia. Greg, it's great to have you on the show. So to start, and let's just clarify for everybody who's watching outside of the U.S. and potentially those here in the U.S. who may not remember their civics class from high school, why do we have this system of the Electoral College?
Yeah, it's a very unusual system that we have for electing our president and vice president. Basically goes back to the founding of the country, the Constitutional Convention. This was a very hotly debated topic by the founders. They spent 3 weeks and cast more than 30 votes about how to elect a president. Some people thought it ought to be by popular vote, as a lot of people think so today. Some people thought the Congress or the state legislature should elect the president. But this was basically a compromise that the founders came up with when they couldn't really agree on anything else. And we've had it for over 200 years since.
Okay, so who elects the electors who are voting today?
Well, they're chosen by the state parties. Basically, the electors are people generally who are pretty politically active in their states, Republican activists, Democratic activists, and they're chosen well in advance of the election. And then when people go and vote on November the 3rd, when they vote on November the 3rd, they were sort of indirectly voting for president, but in actuality, they were voting for these slates of electors pledged to Biden or Trump.
One thing that I found really interesting about the discussion after this most recent presidential election is the idea of potential reforms of the electoral system here in the United States. It's something that you explore because the popular vote winner has not been elected twice in the last 6 presidential elections, as you point out, in 2000 and 2016. But before that, it only happened 3 times in the entire history of the country, 1824, 1876, and 1888. Have there been discussions over the last half a century or so to reform the system and change it because it doesn't seem like it's actually representing the will of the people?
Yeah, there have been a lot of discussions about it, but we really haven't come close to a vote, a constitutional amendment to abolish the Electoral College and implement an alternative system. 1968, we had a very close election where the presence of a third-party sectional candidate, George Wallace, nearly kept Richard Nixon the winner under 270 electoral votes, which is what you need an absolute majority to win. Otherwise, the House of Representatives picks the president. It actually overwhelmingly passed the House, but it stalled in the Senate. There was a vote in the Senate in the late 1970s, but it fell well short of the 2/3 needed to pass a constitutional amendment. So we really haven't come close to abolishing the Electoral College.
Okay, so fast forward to 2020 and to today. What happens next in the sort of journey for Biden to get to the White House on January 20th?
Yeah, so the state electors, as you mentioned, are meeting all across their state capitals today and in the District of Columbia. And, it's basically to confirm the popular vote results in their states. Every once in a while, you get what's called a faithless elector, someone who has pledged to vote for Biden or Trump who may vote for an alternative candidate. That's happened on a scattering basis over the years. It's never really thrown any election into doubt or anything like that. So Biden should get 306, Trump 232. And then after that, we have a joint session of Congress on January the 6th, where Vice President Mike Pence will preside over that session. It'll take about half an hour. They'll actually, count the certificates that these electors are casting today, and they will announce the formal vote totals for Biden and Trump. So Mike Pence will be in the unenviable position of announcing his own ticket's defeat.
Yeah, that is going to be a sight to see, certainly, I think. We all know the pressure that he's been under, I would imagine, because of the president. Speaking of that, do you think this is the end of President Trump's attempts to overturn the results of the election?
Well, I suppose he can file some lawsuits here and there, but I think we're past maybe the deadlines for really any action to happen. I don't really see his efforts to overturn any results in any states really coming to fruition or having any success.
Bloomberg Government's Greg Giroux. Thanks for your time, Greg. It's great to see you on Quick Take today. And coming up.
Thanks so much for watching Bloomberg Quick Take News, where we bring you the biggest stories the moment they happen from around the world. Don't forget to click the video if you want to see more of our latest coverage, and subscribe to Bloomberg Quick Take News to get insight in an instant.